what's happened in the last video.
What in the world just happened?
And here is more MrDudeManSir.
1 hour passes, then another, but there remains no sign of movement around Ecchi residence as twilight settles upon the neighborhood. After Koji's 1 pack of cigarettes runs out, the stakeout becomes a battle against mounting impatience. He kills time by redialing Omi on his cell and sending her short text messages, but his efforts are as futile as he knew they would be. What is he doing in there? I guess we will find out sooner or later. When the sky begins to turn deep blue and the street lights come on, Fuminori finally emerges from the house and heads back towards the station with the same hurried stride. But maybe we won't learn out what he's doing. He just left. After some brief consideration, Koji decides that right now investigating the house is more important than tailing Fuminori, I mean. Is he gonna die as well? This is just like the stereotypical scary movie. He rings the doorbell just to make sure. Receiving the expected silence in response, he checks to make sure no one is watching and turns the doorknob. The doorknob is not locked. This is some hardcore parallel deer. I was gonna say parallelism between her and him, but you know, there became a creepy innuendo here, so I'm going to just try to keep him freaking out. The moment he enters this house, thick stale air fills Kyoji's nostrils, redolent of mold and dust. It is the unmistakable smell of a house that has long lain untouched. This is also a faint hint of something indescribable in the air, something reminiscent of damp sewers and fetid cisterns. Flipping the light switch does nothing. The power must be dead, or perhaps cut off. What in the world is Fuminori doing in here? Kyoji uses his oil lighter to illuminate the immediate area. Why was he carrying an oil lighter with him? Oh, because he smokes coolsies. And I wonder how much light that even gives off. It is like this tiny little thing. And I don't even know what time period this is, so I don't know how the effectiveness of that oil lighter will be. In the thick dust covering the floor, you can clearly see several brand new trails of footprints that could have only been made by shoes. They must have been Fuminori's, he deducted. Showing an equal lack of reservation, Kyoji also entered with his shoes on. Oh dear. Something popped up on my screen. Go, thank you. Oh dear. That was a thing. The latest flickering flame pushes back the deathly silence and gloom of the house. I don't know if you're able to see that one pop up, but it was a thing. Kyoji is surprised to see the evidence of life remaining. Everything from furniture to tableware and appliances is intact. Nothing seems to be missing. The thickness of the dust suggests that the house has been empty for several months, which means that the owner must have left with little more than the clothes on his back. Could he have gone on long vacation? Was this the doctor's house? That one doctor that Sai's the dad? Is this his house? I wonder. The calendar in the den is still turned to April. Empty and silent, yet still exhibiting signs of life that was once lived there. The house remains Koji of a passenger ship resting at the bottom of the sea. In the graveyard lay quiet. A sinister thought suddenly runs through his head. No one is living here, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the owner left. Maybe he was killed, and his rotting corpse is right under my feet. Those are just Y symbols, but it kind of looks like a crying man with that little dot being the nose, which actually kind of quite fits the, emotion right now. So cool. You're the real MVP, Y symbols. Kyoji finds himself wanting a stronger light. A mag light in his hand would make him feel a lot better. I feel like I'm in some sort of corpse party all over again. But I'm not complaining. Following what appears to be Fuminori's footprints, Kyoji descends to the second floor. I mean ascends. You can't descend up. That doesn't make sense. Where he begins to catch the scent of paper and the stale air. It is the smell of old books, instantly familiar to anyone who has worked in an antique bookstore or library. The second floor turns out to be a study. Its towering shelves packed with such a vast number of books that Kyoji fears for the stability on the floor. As a medical student himself, he is able to discern at a glance that this study belongs to a medical professional, and a high-level one at that. This is obviously the doctor's house. I am so good at picking things up! Gosh darn! Judging by the content of the books, a smorgasbord of technical volumes far beyond a simple student, the owner must be more interested in research than clinical medicine. It appears that Fuminori spent most of his time here, the scattered dust making it clear that he was searching for something. He seems to have been focused on going through the desk and file cabinet, as the contents of their drawers are now obvious disarray. A small pile of books on the side table catches his eye. Being quite next to the desk, they must have been most frequently read. What sort of books they could have shed some light on the person who worked here? Kyoji frowns as he examines the 3 books. The old leather-bound Western tomes are not scientific texts, but rather the kind of books you would expect to see in a glass case at a rare bookstore. The titles are equally mysterious. How in the world are you? Traité de Chevresse appears to be on semiotics, but Ars Magna de Ultime is some kind of treatise on divination. And then there's one real niche manuscript, which appears to be some sort of picture book. When he pages through it, however, he finds a line after line of utterly incomprehensible characters. Maybe it's some kind of cipher. Maybe it's cider. I almost read that. Could you imagine just like inside the book, he just like flipping through it and it's like a warm glass of apple cider just pours out of it, and you're happy for the rest of your life because of that one moment. But it didn't happen. It was a cipher. Whatever they are, they clearly have nothing to do with medicine, refuting Kyoji's earlier guess that Mr. Ogai was a doctor. Exactly. Looking down, Kyoji suddenly notices the glint of something black and metallic underneath the chair. A pocket-sized mag light. Quite out of place among the dusty books. Fuminori must have brought it in. With slight relief, Kyoji exchanges his lighter for that mag light. Its tiny body emits a powerful white beam that casts away the darkness. His courage restored, he decides to explore the rest of the house. Kyoji noticed something strange, something that was not visible in the lighter's weak flame. The slime. Especially thick on the doorknobs and stair banisters. There are no mere handprints. Dark slimy stains are everywhere, like someone had their hands wrapped in greasy cloth. Looking closer, he sees what appear to be places where slime was splashed, low on the walls near the floor. It's almost as if the wet mop was run violently across the floor. Oh my gosh. Are these more remnants of Ogai's life? No, these marks are much too strange. Kyoji begins to feel sick as he finds himself imagining the denizen of this place wandering around with filthy water dripping from its entire body. I'm going to put something together, and I'm not sure if this even makes any sense. Well, I'm sure it makes sense, but I'm not sure if this is at all the real story. But I'm going to try putting something together. This guy, this scientist, is very shady in what he does. And of course, he probably, like, as mad scientists do, try to do something world-changing. So his daughter, he was like, hey, I'm gonna change you. And so he did. And then when he changed her, she turned into some sort of like giant mutated monster killing people. And after this happened to him, he was like, I don't want a part of my daughter doing this. So he left with no trace. I don't know if you understood that, as usually happens after I do some sort of putting together stuff. But that's my thoughts so far on the subject. Coolsies. Finding the bedroom next to the study, Kyoji checks the closet on a hunch. He finds 2 empty suitcases, not what one would leave behind when going on a long vacation. A sudden chill runs through him, so whoever was living here is still somewhere inside the— oh dear. Okay, my theory is completely blown out of the water with that. Suppressing the urge to flee, Kyoji goes back downstairs to check the first floor. If he finds a corpse, you'll have to call the police right away. You can't get away with trespassing if he reports it first, but if they find the body later, it'll be awfully hard to explain his fingerprints all over the house. The maglite reveals the den to be covered in even more slime than the rest of the house. The sofa looks as though it was drenched from the bottom of the swamp. I think this reminds me of some sort of Goosebumps movie, or episode. You know, the green slime? Mad scientist in the basement, huh? In the kitchen, Kyoji takes one look at the sink and decides not to get any closer. He doesn't want any more fuel for his imagination. He reaches the door, to the bathroom. A common scene from TV dramas flashes through his head. A suicide with slit wrists floating in the bathtub filled with water. But wasn't there a movie a hitman butchers his victim's body in the bathroom? Maybe. Oh dear. Something just happened. I think that was the door. Kyoji steels himself and opens the door slowly, shining his light into the ceramic bathtub that appears from the darkness like a white ghost. Okay, I thought there was going to be some sort of jump scare, but good. Dried flesh and blood clinging to the curved rib bones has turned inside of the tub black. Kyoji puts one hand against the wall to steady himself as his legs threaten to buckle. Something is wrong. He realizes as he desperately tries to get his thoughts in order. Bones. But they are too small, and there are too many of them. They aren't human. After taking several deep breaths to calm himself, Kyoji enters the bathroom and examines the tub. The tub is half filled, or again, half empty, with small bones piled on top of each other like fallen leaves. Too small to be human. They appear to be from small animals like dogs, cats, mice, and sparrows. This would probably be Sai's stash. Even so, the quantity of mind-boggling. How many corpses would it take to produce this many bones? Probably as many as Saya ate. The bones have all been separated from each other, and it doesn't appear to be the bodies were just thrown into the tub and left to rot. This is made clear by the many groove-like impressions left on each bone, marks left by teeth biting in through flesh. Kyoji's sanity won't let him consider the possibility that a human could have done this. The owner of this house must have been keeping some sort of carnivorous animal as a pet, giving it the bones of small animals to eat and disposing of the remains in the bathtub. It's either that, or, some sort of human thinks it's some sort of fruit. Maybe like an apple. Maybe some sort of orange. But he thinks those bones are kinda like some sort of fruit. Cool. But why not dispose of the leftovers properly? They could have just been thrown out with the garbage, or was there something keeping him from leaving the house? The momentary relief Kyoji felt when he realized that bones weren't human is once again under attack by an ever-deepening mystery permeating this house. And just what the heck was Fuminori doing here? Oh dear. Oh dear. What are you doing, Kyoji? Kyoji rolls around, his pen light revealing Fuminori's expressionless face. You're trespassing, Kyoji. So, are you? Kyoji replies, barely managing to speak after the pounding of his heart. Fuminori pushes past Kyoji and looks nonchalantly into the bathtub, as though there was nothing strange about a tub full of bones. I know the owner of this house. I will just ask to find something. You know them? Since when? Who are they? Kyoji doesn't want to believe that the old friendly Fuminori could have had contact with the denizens of this house. I'll introduce you to one of these days. Well, one of these days, he says, turning to leave without even looking at Kyoji. I owe them my life, after all. Hey, Fuminori. With his heart finally beating normally again, Kyoji runs after Fuminori. Wait, are they the reason you've gotten so strange of all of the... What? What? You've gotten so strange all of the... You should probably finish your sentences next time. Standing in the entrance, Fuminori glares coldly at Kyoji over his shoulder. The utter lack of emotion in his eyes gives Kyoji pause. You followed me, didn't you, Kyoji? With no possible excuse, Kyoji can only swallow under Fuminori's piercing stare. That's a nuisance. I'll ask you not to do it again. Fine. Fuminori walks away without another word, leaving Kyoji alone at the entrance. Until this moment, there was a part of Kyoji that wanted to consider Saisaka Fuminori a close friend. Now, however, there was only ice-cold terror. Does the Fuminori he knew no longer exist? Was the person who just stared Kyoji down an imposter wearing Fuminori's skin? Kyoji has begun to believe that it might be so. Back to his point of view, I see. What a nuisance. Why does he insist on interfering? If he could only spoke with me to exchange pleasantries, even I could bear it. But for him to stick his neck into my business just to satisfy his curiosity, He is clearly violating my privacy. Kyoji is a perfect example of someone who thinks that it's always good to take an interest in other people's affairs. He probably thinks he's knowing some sort of concern about me prying into my personal life. It couldn't be more annoying. If he keeps interfering, I might have to find some way to deal with him. Like Saya said, I have to keep my search for Professor Ogai as secret as possible. Kyoji could ruin everything. Saya said that there were nothing to help in the search, but I unexpectedly found many things of value in the professor's house. I didn't have time to fully examine the house today. At this rate, it'll probably take several days to go through the study alone. I'll have to go to and from the house a lot, but now Kyoji knows where it is. Will he keep making things difficult? Excuse me, Saisaka-kun. A hair-raising voice calls him about to enter the gate. Suppressing a shudder, I put a fake smile on and turn to the face of the writhing mass of rotting flesh that is staring at me with bulging eyes. Good evening, Saisaka-san. Are you getting home? Yeah, I am. Ah yes, this is the next door neighbor Suzumi. A middle-aged painter, I think, who spends all day at home while his wife works. I haven't had much interaction with him, so why is he suddenly talking to me today? Have you gotten used to living alone? Yeah. Thank you for your help. I know it must be very difficult, but you're still young. You have to work hard to move on with your life. Yeah. What is this? Did he stop me just to deliver a lecture? With such a big house, it must be hard to take care of everything by yourself. Yeah, I suppose I am having trouble. Why not at least hire a caretaker? Didn't your father have one? Yeah, but I'm still a student. My funds are limited. Such an expense would be. I see. The flesh beast undulates foully, as though it still has something to say. Just looking at it is driving me close to the edge. Even so, don't you think you should at least tend to your yard? I'd be happy to help. No thank you. I'll manage on my own. Oh, now I get it. He's worried that the unsightliness of my house might ruin the beauty of his own. Dang snob. Flashing a token smile, I retreat to the safety of my gate. I can feel Suzumi's eyes boring into my back, all the way to the front door. Why won't everyone stay out of my life? I want to find a place free of other people, a place where I can live together with Saya. Suzumi Yosuke sighs in annoyance as he watches the neighbor boy retreat into his house. What's with his attitude? Even while talking, he kept his eyes averted, as though he was looking at something filthy. Has the eldest son of Saisaka family always been such an unpleasant young man? No, of course not. When his parents were still alive, he had been a normal youth, slightly introverted yet sensitive. The unfamiliarity of living alone must have been placing stress on him. If this continues, he might develop mental problems. Or is it too late already? Yosuke wonders as he warily gazes over Saisaka's yard. Even during dinner, Yosuke can't shake the neighboring house from his mind. What's wrong, honey? You look like something's bothering you. Yeah, I saw the young man from next door today. Next door? You mean Fuminori Oni-chan? Yeah, I spoke to him about the yard. I know. I wish to at least do something about that smell. The stink coming from the Saisaka house grows worse each day, and the Suzumi family is at its wit's end. Could there be a dead cat or something in those bushes? Surely he must notice a smell coming from his own yard. He couldn't be leaving raw garbage out there, could he? No, surely not. No, I wouldn't put it past him now. Who knows what he's doing in there all day with the storm shutters closed? What kind of life is he leading? Did Oni-chan go crazy? Now, Hiromi, you mustn't say things like that. Honestly, with the way things are going, I'm starting to wonder if he's developed paranoia or something. Will he be alright? Unless he admits it, and gets himself a doctor soon, who knows? Who knows if he has paranoia? I mean, by his point of perspective, he just has a really bad life. But maybe something's actually, gosh darn cars. Maybe something is actually wrong in his head other than the score thing. Who knows? The seconds crawl by, each tick the clock compounding my agony. When I returned from the Yogai house, I was greeted by a silent, empty home. Saya had vanished without leaving any clue as to her whereabouts. It isn't rare for her to go on for walks at night. I've often gone with her. However, such outings away take place in the middle of the night when no one is around, and never last for more than 2 hours. Right now it's 5 in the morning. Soon the night sky will begin to show the first light of dawn. Even if she left right before I returned, she's still been gone for most half the day. Unable to sleep, I can only wait in anguish. I tried to distract myself by painting more of the other rooms, but I couldn't concentrate on the work. If I had known this would happen, I would have left the Yogai house sooner. I wish I hadn't wasted time on Kyoji. The sight doesn't return. The thought fills me with such panic that I want to tear my hair out. After its long absence, the terror of true loneliness is slowly crushing me. Hey! At last the cowbell chimes and Saya's long-awaited "I'm home" rings out from the bottom of the stairs. As I jump out of my bed in relief, all the mental stress that was built up through the night is released in a wave that threatens to sweep me off my feet. Ah, so tired, Saya says as she climbs the stairs. I knew going all the way there and back wouldn't be hard. I mean, it would. Saya, where have you... My question trails off as I notice a thick bundles of paper that she's carrying under her arms. What are those? Oh, your medical charts and surgery records. I went back to the hospital today. Saya all but drops her bundles on the floor, sending paper flying everywhere. Pulling her favorite cushion over, she collapses into it and stretches luxuriously. Wouldn't the papers get all like mucus colored and whatever with all the stuff on the ground and stuff? Probably not, because this is a visual novel, it can do it at once. You walked all the way back from T University in the middle of the night? Sorry, she says, skillfully gathering the scattered papers together one by one. I meant to come back sooner, but there were so many files to go through. So I decided just to bring everything. It was so heavy. Maybe I'm just tired, but I'm not understanding a word Saya's saying. Wait, what are you planning to do with all of this? What do you mean? I'm gonna study them, of course. She replies, holding one MRI photograph after another up to the light. I'll have plenty of time to go over them here. At first I think she's just playing around, but the occasional mutters of, better check this one. Oh, I see. The like as she separates photos into the growing pile next to her makes me think that this might not be a joke after all. Can you understand this stuff? I learned a lot from Dad. I see. So that's how it is. No wonder it can't be fixed. It can't be fixed. By a human doctor, that is. I can't tell if she's being serious or not. Even for me, it'll probably be a little tough, she says offhandedly, even as her hands continue to shuffle papers. I'll have to try some things first. Watching more carefully, I realize that her eyes are scanning each page rapidly, so fast in fact that I was unable to notice it at first. Is it possible that Saya, a young girl, is trying to read? No, is actually reading my charts. Hey, Saya. Yeah, she answers coolly, looking up from the charts. I'm tired. Let's go to bed. And probably more erotic scenes. Sure, Saya replies with a grin, if that's what you want. Did she just throw them all away? Tossing aside the papers she was sorting, she immediately starts her... Oh, yep. Yep. Hey. Come on. It's gonna appear every second now. Oh dear, I'm just... Okay. Cool. Oh dear, I'm going to have to read this and see the moral of the story again, aren't I? Probably. Oh, hey, whoa, hey. There's a thing. It just appeared. Don't you think, is that healthy to be doing this every day? Okay. And she's like, are you sick from annoying? Oh no, my body is all grown up, so I'm fine. But you're still like 10 years old. Don't worry. She laughs playful. Okay, it's starting up again. But I'm worried. We haven't even used any... What? What is a contraception? I don't even know. For some unfathomable reason, Saya is completely uninterested in such precautions. Is that like a condom? Oh dear. Okay, yep. Okay. I'll let you read that. That is some very kinky stuff. Is she like some sort of succubus? Maybe. Fuminori, you don't want me to have... Oh, okay. Cool. Maybe not. How can I respond to that? It's not like that. Your body is... it's a serious burden, you know? I don't think you have to worry about that. Saya seems unsure on how to reply, but not because she doesn't understand what I just said. Rather, the bemused look on her face makes it seem as though I'm the one not getting it. But I know that you're just thinking of me, so she says suddenly, her smile glowing with innocence, so I'm still happy. Okay, good. The picture had not shown up yet. Cool. By the time I break the spell, okay. Yep. Come on. Relax. Oh dear, this is so oh dear! That is a thing. Okay, no, last time I said I was going to blur the entire screen, and I didn't. This time I literally had to blur the entire screen, other than maybe like the top fourth quarter of the screen, because everything is literally... Yes. So, cool. I gotta skip it. Okay. Okay. It is over. So, as a reflection of what I just saw, which was, again, quite decently long, not as long as last time, but quite graphic as well. The moral of this time is that, well, Fuminori was again like, oh my gosh, I feel bad. Why am I doing this? Like, why? She is some sort of succubus person, I think, who has some sort of pleasure out of this stuff. Maybe just like, you know, yeah, having this sort of semen in her stuff, and then maybe she's, you know, feeds off of it, like a succubus kind of would, maybe. 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 Wow, that's so good. Oh no, she looks up at me, answering my confusion by smiling. Okay, yep, cool. No, okay, no, it's still bad. See, you don't have to worry if I do. Yep, cool. It's hardly a problem, but I have no idea how to respond. Okay, I was not expecting this. But okay, was it bad? Did what? Hearing the sudden nervousness inside his voice, I hastily stammer. Of course, they good. In fact, good. That cool. Besides, you don't want. Oh, yep. But it's cool. She wants it. Suddenly distraught, Saya clings to me like a child. Just candy stolen from her. I won't ever. Okay. Cool. Saya really does. Yep. Not as deep. Still didn't my early, of course, but there isn't much point where it's back. You know, I just realized if they had a child, wouldn't Fuminori like be completely grossed out by it because it'd be like a little ball of flesh? Maybe. Maybe it'll be like an actual baby though, because, you know, Saya is not a ball of flesh to him. So that's a thing. However, that only explains their appetite for. Okay, yep. I still didn't know why she. Yep. There's so many. Why? Like, why? Why do this? Well, I suppose that it's some impure or taboo differs from person to person, but I can't simply apply the normal values of Saya. You don't like it, huh? She gazes up at me pleadingly. How can I resist? I do, as long as you're okay with it. Cool. Saya smiles with relief and burrows contentedly into my chest. I love you, Fuminori, she purrs softly. She turned into an echo. Okay. With her body draped over mine, I become even more aware of how light and delicate she is. Can this tiny girl and I really live as husband and wife? No, because I don't think it allows pedophilic relationships. I'm just hoping. Maybe. Saya's feelings are so earnest. How could I not accept them? Also, I just realized Asai is probably some sort of monster, so you probably wouldn't even be able to get married without them freaking the freak out. So just saying that. He's having morality issues, Sai and I are all that matters. There's no point in worrying about what others think anymore. Although, I suppose I still need to talk to Sai as guardian, of course. I seriously need to find Professor Ogai as soon as possible. Okay. No more ecchi scenes. No more! By the time I drift asleep, in exhaustion's comforting my embrace, all doubts of Sai's action have vanished from my mind. Whatever the case, all that matters is that she's returned to me.